Friends and viewer, good day. Mark Twain, as I told you before, of one of his with his famous short story, a notorious jumping frog. And today I'm going to tell you about this true story. The name of this is a true story by Mark Twain. It is a fiction short story adult published in 1874. The name of this is the true story. So, a true story, a word for a word. I have in my hand the famous work of Mark Twain. Here it is. The name of this is the true story. A true story, word for word, as I heard it. A true story, word for word, as I heard it, as a short story by Mark Twain. First published in 1874 in the Atlantic Monthly, Mark Twain was an American writer known for such classic as his famous classic Adventures of Huckleberry Finn and The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. In his critique of slavery and racism, the story anticipates Huckleberry Finn. It also explored themes of the possibility of human connection, black women defying racism and sexism, and the complexity of joy in an unjust world. This guide, the source material contains in this book elements the reader may find objectionable, including racism, enslavement, racial slurs, and violence, taking place outside the farmhouse of the story's narrator. A true story is mostly told by Aunt Rachel, a 60-year-old black woman who works for a white family. She tells her story to the narrator, who is only referred to as Mr. C, potentially the redacted name of Mark Twain's real name, Samuel Clemens. It happens one summer evening. Mr. C is sitting on the porch of his farmhouse. Aunt Rachel is sitting respectfully below him and his family. The narrator describes Aunt Rachel's as strong, especially for her age, and a cheerful, hearty soul. At the end of each day, she laughs, reflecting on the joy that Aunt Rachel exudes. The narrator asks her a question: how she can have avoided all trouble in her 60 years of life. Aunt Rachel considered and then asked the narrator whether he's being serious. Surprised, the narrator stammers and rephrases his question, noting that he has never heard this story before. Aunt Rachel sigh or seen her without a laugh in her eye. Aunt Rachel turns fully around and tells the narrator that she will answer the question and let him judge for himself. Aunt Rachel explained that she was formerly enslaved and described her husband and their affection for one another. They had 7 children, about whom Aunt Rachel comments that the Lord can't make no children so black, but what the mother loves him. She herself was raised in Virginia by a mother from Maryland who could be terrible in certain moods. Aunt Rachel recounts a particular phrase her mother said at such time: I want bound the mash to be full. So Aunt Rachel will never forget those words which her mother even said when Rachel's son Henry was badly injured, sustaining scars to his wrist and head. Later, Aunt Rachel's enslaver sold her at an auction in Richmond. There, Aunt Rachel and others were put in chains and set on a platform in front of a crowd. The planter inspected the enslaved people, commenting on their age and ability. Rachel began to cry when her husband and 6 of her children were sold, prompting an enslaver to hit her on the mouth and tell her to be quiet. When the same man grabbed her son Henry, Aunt Rachel seized the man and threatened to kill anyone who touched him. Henry whispered to Rachel that he would run away and then purchase his mother's freedom. However, the enslaver seized him, causing Aunt Rachel to beat them over the head with her chain. A Confederate general bought Aunt Rachel and brought her to Newborn to York to work as a cook. During the Civil War, the Union Army took over the town and General ran away, leaving Rachel and other enslaved people in Dad Monsu's big house. The Union soldier asked if Rachel would cook for them, and she agreed happily. The soldiers were high ranking, and one of the generals told her that she was now safe and could scold anyone who gave her trouble. Aunt Rachel reflects on Henry, who she was confident would have made it to the north if he ran away. She talked with Union soldiers and asked them if they had seen him, mentioning the scars on his left wrist and head. They asked when she lost him, and she said it was 13 years prior. The general commented that Henry would be a man by now, a thought that hadn't occurred to Aunt Rachel. The man hadn't seen her son, who she later learned and escaped to the north and became a barber. When the Civil War started, Henry quit his job, resolving to find his mother. He joined the army as an officer servant and fought throughout the South without Rachel's knowing anything about it. When the Union Army had a soldier ball at Newborn, a lot of soldiers were making noise in the kitchen. On a Friday night, a black regiment of soldiers were guarding the house, dancing and having a good time. So the soldiers were making fun of Aunt Rachel, red turban, and playing music too loud. Aunt Rachel got so upset that she unbraided them with her mother, saying, when she did, a young man looked at the ceiling as if in thought. The young man told another soldier that he had something on his mind and couldn't sleep. At 7 o'clock in the morning, Aunt Rachel was still working over the stove when she saw a black man approaching her. They looked eyes, and Aunt Rachel trembled. She dropped her pan of biscuit and grabbed his sleeve to see his scars and forehead. After seeing the scar, she recognized him as Henry. Aunt Rachel concludes her story saying, "Oh no, Mr. C had no trouble and no joy." So this is the story, the true story written by Mark Twain. This is indeed a very wonderful and marvelous story. And the theme of this story is that the possibility of human connection. Mr. C opened the story referencing an unspecified third person plural. "We are sitting on the porch," he says, with Aunt Rachel sitting respectively below our level. Presumably this "we" refers to Mr. C's family, but it invites reader to begin thinking in the collective. However, Aunt Rachel is notably not part of "we." Mr. C bears no conscious ill will, but he thinks of her as a different kind of person, black as well as a servant. This distinction set him and later on, in this, we see that how Aunt Rachel, being tormented and prosecuted and suffered from racial prejudices and hatred, how she attains her happiness after many years when she met her sons Henry again. So this story, the true story by Mark Twain, is a very wonderful, very exciting story. I hope you will enjoy it.